just days before the lights go out at Zandvoort. I mean, a massive shockwave has just fractured the entire paddock.
Oh, completely out of nowhere.
Right. A sudden off-track gym accident has triggered this chaotic triple driver shakeup across both Red Bull and Racing Bulls.
Yeah.
And we are staring down a glaring question right at the top of this deep dive. Is this genuinely just an emergency medical substitution, or are Red Bull, ruthlessly weaponizing an unfortunate injury as a covert high-stakes audition to salvage a 2026 season where they are, quite frankly, just bleeding points?
Well, the timing is catastrophic for the driver involved, but from a management perspective, I mean, this is exactly the kind of mid-season earthquake a struggling team might secretly hope for.
Oh, absolutely.
It provides cover for a radical data-gathering exercise.
Spot on. So welcome back to the Paddock Vault, everyone. If you want to stay ahead of the dirty air and get the absolute sharpest inside analysis, pin in for a subscribe and give us the green light by hitting that like button, mate.
Definitely do that.
We are straight into the telemetry today, and I really want to hear from everyone watching. Is Yuki Tsunoda's sudden return a genuine shot at F1 redemption? Or are Red Bull just desperately patching a sinking ship? Drop your verdicts in the comments.
I think the ripple effects of this single gym incident are going to, well, dictate the driver market for the next 2 years. It's really that big.
Blimey, 2 years.
Yeah, because we are looking at a situation that exposes the fundamental flaws in Red Bull's current aerodynamic philosophy and, honestly, their entire driver program.
So we have to start with the catalyst for all this chaos.
Yep.
August 19th, 2026.
Right.
Isack Hadjar, Red Bull's 21-year-old French rookie. He fractures his wrist in a summer break training session.
Yeah, just a simple gym accident.
Completely ruled out of the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And what makes this incredibly poignant, I think, is that this is the final race at Zandvoort before it officially drops off the calendar in 2027.
It is.
It's a historic weekend, and the lad who scored his maiden podium here just last year is, well, he's sidelined.
It is a devastating blow for Hadjar because he was, up until this point, putting together a highly respectable season.
He really was.
He's currently sitting P8 in the Drivers' Championship. He has 68 points.
Right.
Consistently bringing the car home in the points. But when we look strictly at the telemetry, analyzing his 2026 season is where the underlying crisis at Red Bull really reveals itself.
Oh, well, let's get into those numbers.
Yeah.
Because on Saturday, I mean, the kid looks like a future world champion.
Exactly. On Saturday, the data shows immense raw speed. In qualifying trim, when they're stripping the fuel out and pushing for pole position,
Right.
Hadjar is trailing Max Verstappen by an average of just 0.237 seconds.
Which is nothing. 0.2 of a second across a 3-mile circuit.
Right. It's incredibly tight for a rookie against a generational talent.
Absolutely.
It proves Hadjar has the mechanical sympathy and the reflexes to extract maximum grip over a single lap.
But then the narrative completely shatters on Sunday because that gap of 0.2, it suddenly doubles.
Yeah.
He is losing nearly half a second a lap, 0.490 seconds to be exact. That's his deficit to Max in pure race pace.
It's a massive drop-off.
It is.
And it's the difference between fighting for podiums and fighting to stay in the top 10.
Yeah.
He is bleeding lap time when the points are actually handed out.
I look at it this way. Qualifying it's like walking a tightrope, but you've got a massive safety net.
Okay, yeah.
The soft tires provide so much artificial mechanical grip that they mask the car's inherent aerodynamic flaws. You only need the tires to survive for 90 seconds.
Exactly.
But on race day, with 100 kilos of fuel and degrading rubber, that safety net vanishes. The true nature of the car is exposed.
And the RB22 is a very tricky car.
So is Hadjar's Sunday deficit a fundamental flaw in how he preserves rubber? Or is Verstappen simply an untouchable master at managing the RB22's highly erratic behavior, once the FIA delegates release the cars from Parc Fermé?
It leans heavily toward Verstappen's mastery of a very broken machine. The RB22 has a notoriously peaky aerodynamic map.
Peaky, yeah.
It means the car only generates optimal downforce in a very narrow, specific window of ride height and speed.
Right.
Once the tire degradation kicks in and the mechanical grip fades, that aero window shifts unpredictably.
It just moves away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a rookie like Hadjar will naturally try to force the car through the corner using the steering wheel.
Which scrubs the front tires.
Spot on. It scrubs the tires, spikes their temperatures, and leads to a massive loss of lap time.
He's fighting the car rather than flowing with it.
Exactly. Verstappen, on the other hand, actively changes his driving style lap by lap. He alters the brake bias mid-corner.
Oh.
He shifts his braking points and uses the throttle to rotate the rear of the car instead of relying on the front tires.
So he's driving around the problem.
He drives around the aerodynamic deficits in a way that simply cannot be taught in a simulator. So Hadjar is a fantastic talent. The 0.490-second deficit is a reflection of Red Bull building a car that, quite frankly, only an alien can drive consistently over 50 laps.
But this injury doesn't just rob Hadjar of a race. It forces Red Bull into a highly uncomfortable corner.
It does.
They don't just need a warm body to fill a seat. They need an immediate answer to a mounting 2026 crisis.
Right.
Which brings Liam Lawson's brutal history with this team right back into the firing line.
Liam Lawson gets the emergency call-up. The 24-year-old New Zealander is stepping into the main Red Bull racing seat alongside Verstappen.
And we cannot ignore the history here, mate. In 2025, Lawson was promoted to the main Red Bull seat and then unceremoniously dropped after just 2 races.
2 races.
2 races. They threw him straight back down to Racing Bulls. Now, a year later, the Milton Keynes squad is handing him the keys again.
He has earned this second look through sheer grinding consistency.
Fair play to him.
Down at Racing Bulls this year, Lawson sits P9 in the championship with 43 points. He scored in 8 of the 11 rounds.
Which is solid.
He is the definition of a steady hand. But his promotion isn't a reward. It's a desperate strategic gambit by Red Bull. You have to look at the sheer brutality of the 2026 standings to understand why Lawson is in that car this weekend.
It is an absolute bloodbath at the sharp end of the grid.
It is.
Kimi Antonelli is making a mockery of the field at Mercedes, leading the championship with a staggering 219 points.
Unbelievable season from him.
Lewis Hamilton has 169 points with Ferrari. And Max Verstappen, the defending multi-time champion, is languishing down in P6 with just 109 points.
And the constructors' battle is the real nightmare for Red Bull management.
Absolutely.
Mercedes leads with 379 points, possessing a car that is incredibly stable across all tire compounds.
Right.
Ferrari sits at 307, McLaren at 220. Red Bull is a distant fourth with 177 points.
Fourth. Blimey.
The financial and wind tunnel testing implications of finishing fourth are disastrous for a team of that scale.
Which makes me question the logic of their entire driver program. Are they just throwing Lawson to the wolves here?
No, it's a tough environment.
Zandvoort is an incredibly narrow, punishing circuit. Overtaking is nearly impossible unless you have a massive DRS advantage on the main straight.
Yeah, track position is everything.
Exactly. So how on earth can a driver who was rejected by this exact engineering team a year ago suddenly step in and execute a flawless undercut or overcut strategy in a car he hasn't driven since winter testing?
I'd argue that throwing him to the wolves is exactly the point.
Rude.
Red Bull does not care about Lawson's comfort right now. They care about correlation.
Oh, okay.
They are effectively getting a free, high-stakes data-gathering weekend.
Oh, I see.
By putting Lawson in the RB22 next to Verstappen, they get direct identical machinery telemetry.
Right. No hiding behind different chassis setups.
Exactly. No variable engine wear. They can overlay Lawson's braking traces directly over Verstappen's.
So if Lawson comes in and executes a brilliant undercut, pitting early for fresh tires and pumping and blistering out laps to jump ahead of the Ferraris, they immediately know his ceiling is higher than Hadjar's.
Precisely. The undercut at Zandvoort is incredibly potent because tire warm-up is tricky here.
It is.
If Lawson can master the outlap on cold rubber while navigating dirty air from the midfield, he proves he can handle the cognitive load of a front-running F1 car.
And the pressure is immense. Verstappen reportedly has an offer keeping him at Red Bull until 2033.
Right.
The team needs to know right now who is sitting next to him in 2027.
If Lawson matches or beats Hadjar's 0.490-second race pace deficit, he instantly becomes the prime candidate for the full-time seat.
And if he doesn't?
If he sinks, Red Bull knows they need to look outside their own academy.
It is a high-speed job interview disguised as a medical substitution.
Absolutely.
But pulling Lawson up to the main team doesn't just solve a problem for the higher-ups. It creates a massive vacuum over at Racing Bulls.
It does.
And that vacuum sucks a very familiar, very fiery face right back out of the wilderness.
Yuki Tsunoda returns to the grid.
He does indeed.
The 26-year-old Japanese driver will take Lawson's seat at Racing Bulls for the Dutch Grand Prix.
And he's partnering with the highly rated 18-year-old British rookie, Arvid Lindblad.
Let's analyze Yuki's trajectory, because it has been an absolute roller coaster.
It really has.
He lost his full-time seat at the end of 2025 after scoring only 30 points.
Right.
And he struggled under the immense pressure when he was briefly promoted alongside Verstappen. He's been relegated to a simulator and reserve role ever since.
But returning to the Faenza-based squad might actually be the perfect storm for him.
You think so?
Well, remember, Racing Bulls is where Tsunoda secured his career best finish, a P4 in 2025.
That's true.
He understands the engineering culture there, and more importantly, he understands how they set up a car.
But we have to address the massive elephant in the room here.
Go on.
To be absolutely clear to our viewers, this is paddock speculation at this stage, but the rumors are deafening.
Oh, the IndyCar rumors.
Yes. Word on the grid is that Tsunoda is deep in negotiations for an IndyCar seat with Meyer Shank Racing for 2027.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
The alignment of those IndyCar rumors with this sudden one-off F1 return, it changes the entire psychological complexion of his weekend.
It really does.
Right. Let us unpack that mindset. It is like being invited back to a party you were publicly kicked out of, mate.
Yeah.
Does Tsunoda drive a conservative, measured race to secure a couple of safe points for the team? Or is he effectively treating the Dutch Grand Prix as a 300-kilometer high-speed billboard to prove his ultimate pace to the American sponsors?
It is an incredibly dangerous psychological balancing act for the team.
I can imagine.
On one hand, Tsunoda's aggressive, late-breaking driving style is practically custom-built for a circuit like Zandvoort.
Right, because of the banking.
Exactly. The banked corners, like Tarzan, require absolute commitment and a willingness to trail brake deep into the apex.
And IndyCar rewards that.
IndyCar rewards drivers who can manhandle a heavy car without power steering. And Tsunoda might actually approach this weekend with that aggressive, nothing-to-lose mentality.
And as we mentioned, track position is absolute king at Zandvoort.
It is.
If Tsunoda wrestles that car into Q3 on Saturday with a wild, ragged lap, he could easily hold up faster cars on Sunday just by placing his chassis in the right places.
He could, but Racing Bull's management will be sweating bullets on the pit wall.
Oh, for sure.
They know his history. When Tsunoda pushes beyond the limit of the mechanical grip, he tends to make catastrophic errors.
And they can't afford that right now.
Not at all. Racing Bulls is currently sitting P5 in the constructor standings with 66 points. They are just 5 points ahead of Alpine.
Wow, that's tight.
They cannot afford a first-lap crash. They desperately need both Lindblad and Tsunoda to finish safely and collect whatever scraps the top 4 teams leave behind.
Right.
If Tsunoda bins the car into the barriers trying to impress an IndyCar team boss, it could cost Racing Bulls millions in prize money.
The dynamic inside that garage alone is utterly fascinating.
It's tense.
You have Arvid Lindblad, an 18-year-old British rookie who is treating every single practice session like his life depends on it, trying to prove he belongs in Formula One.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the garage, you have Tsunoda, a 26-year-old veteran who has already been chewed up and spat out by the Red Bull machine,
Exactly.
potentially looking across the Atlantic for his salvation.
Hey.
If Lindblad out-qualifies Tsunoda, it could be the final nail in the coffin for Yuki's F1 aspirations.
It perfectly illustrates how vicious the F1 ecosystem truly is.
It really does.
7 days ago, Isack Hadjar was preparing to consolidate a solid rookie campaign and quietly build his resume.
Yeah.
One slick weight plate in a gym, and the entire Red Bull driver tree is shaken to its core. It exposes the raw desperation of 3 different drivers at completely different stages of their careers.
So let's bring all this telemetry and strategy together.
Right.
A completely innocuous gym injury sidelines, a rising French star in Isack Hadjar. That misfortune gives a brutal high-stakes redemption arc to Liam Lawson, a previously scorned talent who now has 72 laps to prove he has the mental fortitude to survive next to Max Verstappen. And the resulting domino effect resurrects the F1 career of Yuki Tsunoda, giving a driver destined for America one final aggressive dance through the banking at Zandvoort.
If we pull back and look at the broader implications of this entire saga, it forces us to ask a very uncomfortable question about the reigning world champions.
Let's hear it.
Look at the wider landscape of the sport right now. Kimi Antonelli is completely dominating the series at just 19 years old.
Fully backed by a stable Mercedes program.
Exactly. Ferrari has locked in the powerhouse duo of Hamilton and Leclerc, building a car that is predictably fast every single weekend.
Right.
Meanwhile, Red Bull is forced to constantly shuffle their young drivers, demoting Lawson, dropping Tsunoda, relying on Hadjar, pulling Lawson back up again.
It's a revolving door of talent. They're burning through drivers trying to find someone who can tame a fundamentally flawed car.
Exactly, and it leaves us with this thought to mull over long after the checkered flag drops. With their rivals locking in generational talents in stable environments and dominating the constructors' standings, has Red Bull's notoriously cutthroat, high-pressure driver academy finally broken down?
That's a massive question.
By churning through young drivers at this speed, are they failing to develop the very stability they desperately need to close the massive aerodynamic gap to Mercedes and Ferrari?
A brilliant and highly provocative question, mate, and one I am absolutely certain our viewers will have plenty to say about. Drop your verdicts in the comments. Are Red Bull destroying their own future? Or is this weekend the masterstroke that fixes their 2026 season?
It's going to be fascinating to watch.
That is all the time we have for this deep dive on the Paddock Vault. A massive thank you to everyone for tuning in and dissecting the hidden telemetry of the paddock with us. Don't forget to pit in and subscribe before the lights go out at Zandvoort. We will see you on the next one.